Rachmaninoff's The Rock. The story behind it that I love is that Rachmaninoff apparently introduced it to Tchaikovsky one evening when the two got together. Tchaikovsky, towards the end of his life, I would have just loved to have been a fly on that wall when Rachmaninoff sat down at the piano and played through his version of the symphonic poem. And by all accounts, it lifted Tchaikovsky out of his kind of gloomy mood. He was, towards the end of his life, pretty depressed at times, and it really raised his spirits. And Saga is an absolute classic depiction, again, of the Northlands. It's dear to my heart. I spend a number of weeks every season in Finland. I've always got on beautifully with Finnish orchestras, but also the Finnish people, the landscape, the country, and it's all about the landscape and the country, this music. The sheer vastness of that endless forest and innumerable lakes, and of course the light and the climate are just beautiful. Sibelius has captured it memorably in his music. The Pastoral Symphony, you think bucolic, you think meadows and valleys and a few flowers thrown in. We've got babbling brooks and a passing storm, but it's a European storm. We're not talking tornadoes here. It brings a smile to the face just thinking of Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony. Terry is the quintessential professional musician, knows the orchestral repertoire from the inside, as you would expect from a composer. I've conducted works of Terry's every season. Since I've been here, we've commissioned a number of works from him. They are always winners, beautifully written on the orchestra that he knows is part of. But I say winners from a box office point of view. Our audiences just eat it up. They lap up his music. Native North Carolinian, bass trombone player, and I can't think of a better marriage, if you want, than having a bass trombone composer write a concerto for double bass. I mean, Lenny and Terry live in that same deep, dark bass world and have spent however many decades playing that bass line together. So I am so excited to see what Terry comes up with. It's a fascinating hybrid, Chichester Psalms, a combination of culture and religion and language, which I think only Lenny could get away with. We're singing in Yiddish, and we've got all measure of funky Latin, jazz, blues, riffs going on in the percussion section. It's a gloriously colourful and, as I say, unique work. This is another unique art form in that we take the Shakespeare play and we dip into any number of composers' works which have been directly inspired by Romeo and Juliet, Tchaikovsky, Prokofiev, Berlioz, Bernstein, Delius, Gounod. I'm delighted to be collaborating once again with the University of North Carolina School of the Arts. They're fantastically professional and they seem to get a real kick being on the stage with a fully fledged symphony orchestra behind them. This will be my very first on Heldenleben. This is Strauss getting his own back at his critics. It's so big that, orchestras can only ever afford to put it on, rarely. It's a glowing, sumptuous symphonic poem.